Right now, somewhere on Earth, the deadliest animal alive is hunting a human being. It is not the shark, it is not the lion, it is not the crocodile. The animal that kills more people than any other on the planet is smaller than your fingernail. It makes a faint, high whining sound in the dark, and there is a very good chance that one of them is in the room with you right now. We are going to count down the deadliest animals in the world. For each one, you will find out how many people it kills, how it actually does it, and the true story of someone who met it face to face. Some of these you already know to fear, but the creature at number 1 is not the one you are expecting. Let's begin. But before we start the countdown, one animal deserves an honourable mention: the Cape buffalo. Hunters across Africa gave this animal 2 nicknames: the Black Death and the Widowmaker. A Cape buffalo weighs close to a ton, and its head is crowned with a sweep of thick fused horns that work like a battering ram. But what truly makes it dangerous is not its size. It is its temper. A wounded or cornered buffalo does not flee. It hunts you back. It is famous for circling around behind the hunter, waiting silently in the tall grass, and then ambushing the very person who was tracking it, goring and trampling its target into the dirt. It is blamed for around 200 deaths a year, and it has killed more big game hunters than almost anything else on the continent. It just barely missed our list. Number 7. The hippopotamus. People picture the hippo as a fat, lazy, almost cartoonish animal sitting in a river. That picture has gotten a lot of people killed. The hippopotamus is widely considered the deadliest large land animal in Africa, responsible for an estimated 500 human deaths every single year. Here is how. A big male weighs over 3,000 pounds, it can run at nearly 20 miles an hour, and it can open its jaws to almost 180 degrees, with a bite force strong enough to snap a canoe, or a person, clean in half. Hippos are intensely territorial. They do not eat people. They kill them out of pure aggression, capsizing boats and attacking anything that comes between them and the water. And they do not spare the people who love them. In South Africa, a farmer named Marius Els raised a hippo named Humphrey from a baby. He treated him like a member of the family for years. He fed him by hand, swam with him, and even rode on his back. Marius famously said there was a bond between them that other people just could not understand. In November of 2011, Marius Els was found dead in the river on his own farm. Humphrey had killed him. The animal he had loved and trusted for years had turned on him in an instant. Number 6. The Great White Shark. Now the Great White is interesting, because it might be the most feared animal on this entire list, and yet it is nowhere near the most lethal. Sharks of all species combined kill only around 10 people in an average year. Your odds of being killed by one are tiny, but when it does happen, it is the stuff of nightmares. A great white attacks from below and behind, a silent torpedo of muscle that can weigh over 2 tons. It hits with enormous force, sinks rows of serrated teeth into its target, and often lets go. The problem is that a single exploratory bite from an animal that size can remove a limb, and the victim simply bleeds out in the water. In 1963, a young Australian named Rodney Fox was competing in a spearfishing contest when a great white seized him around the torso. It dragged him down. He fought back, jamming his hand into its mouth, and somehow reached the surface. When they pulled him out, his ribcage was exposed, his lung was punctured, and his torso was held together mostly by his wetsuit. It took more than 400 stitches to close him up. Rodney Fox survived. And then he did something extraordinary. He spent the rest of his life defending sharks, arguing that the animal that nearly killed him was far more victim than monster. Number 5. The bear. A large brown bear, or grizzly, is one of the most powerful predators on land. It can weigh up to 1,000 pounds, sprint faster than a racehorse over a short distance, and kill a large animal with a single swipe of a paw. Fatal attacks on humans are rare, but when a bear decides to attack, very little can stop it. They kill with crushing bites to the skull and neck, and with claws that can open a body in one motion. The most famous bear story of all belongs to a man named Timothy Treadwell. For 13 summers, Treadwell lived alone among the grizzly bears of Alaska, often within feet of them, with no weapon and no fence. He gave them names. He spoke to them gently. He was utterly convinced that he had crossed some line into their world, and that they accepted him as one of their own. In October of 2003, Treadwell and his girlfriend Amy Huguenot were killed and eaten by one of the very bears he was trying to protect. A camera was running for the part of it, capturing the audio, though the lens cap was on. The man who believed he was safe among them had been wrong all along. Number 4. The Saltwater Crocodile. The saltwater crocodile is the largest reptile on Earth, and it is a near-perfect killing machine that has barely changed in millions of years. They are responsible for an estimated 1,000 deaths a year, and they possess the strongest bite force ever measured in a living animal. Its method is patience. A saltwater crocodile will float, motionless for hours, looking exactly like a log. The moment a person waits too close, it explodes out of the water, clamps down, and pulls them under. Then it begins the death roll, spinning violently to drown its prey and tear it apart. By the time you see one coming, it is already too late. In December of 2010, a legendary South African explorer named Hendri Coetzee was leading 2 American kayakers down a remote river in the Congo. They had paddled through some of the most dangerous water on the continent. Coetzee was at the front. In a single, silent instant, a large crocodile surged up from beneath his kayak, seized him and pulled him under. His 2 friends just feet away said there was no struggle and almost no sound. He was simply gone. His body was never recovered. Number 3. The snake. Now the numbers start to climb. Snakes kill an estimated 100,000 people every year, and they injure and disable hundreds of thousands more. Most of them poor farmers in Asia and Africa who step on the wrong thing in the dark. Snakes kill in 2 horrifying ways. Some, like cobras and kraits, use neurotoxins that shut down the nervous system, paralyzing the muscles until the victim can no longer breathe. Others, like vipers, use hemotoxins that destroy tissue and stop the blood from clotting, causing the victim to bleed from the inside out. One of the most chilling snake deaths ever recorded happened to a man who understood them better than almost anyone. In 1957, a world-famous herpetologist named Carl Schmidt was handed a snake called a boomslang to identify. It bit him on the thumb. Schmidt, convinced the dose was far too small to be dangerous, decided to do something scientific. He began keeping a detailed diary of his own symptoms. Hour by hour, he calmly recorded the nausea, the fever, and the bleeding, treating his own death as an experiment. By the next day, Carl Schmidt was dead. His notes are still studied today. Number 2. The lion. The lion is the animal we have feared since we first learned to fear anything. The apex predator of the savannah, hunting in coordinated groups, killing with a suffocating bite to the throat. Most lions avoid people, but when a lion learns that humans are easy prey, it becomes something out of a nightmare. It becomes a man-eater. In 1898 in Tsavo, Kenya, workers were building a railway bridge when 2 enormous male lions began hunting them. Not for territory, for food. Night after night, the lions crept into the camps, dragged men screaming from their tents, and devoured them in the dark. The attacks became so frequent and so terrifying that hundreds of workers fled, and construction on the entire railway ground to a halt. A colonel named John Patterson hunted the 2 lions for months, as the body count climbed into the dozens. Eventually, he killed them both. And the most haunting part is that you can still go and look them in the eye. The bodies of the Tsavo man-eaters were preserved, and to this day they are on display in a museum in Chicago. Number 1. The mosquito. After everything you have just seen, the crushing jaws, the teeth, the venom, the claws, the deadliest animal on planet Earth is a tiny insect that weighs almost nothing, and that you can kill with a single slap of your hand. The mosquito kills an estimated 750,000 people every single year. That is more than sharks, lions, bears, crocodiles, hippos, and snakes combined, and it is not even close. The mosquito has likely killed more human beings than any other cause in all of history. And here is the strange part. The mosquito itself is not really trying to hurt you. When a female mosquito drinks your blood, she can inject tiny passengers into your bloodstream, the parasites and viruses that cause malaria, dengue, yellow fever, and more. The insect is just the delivery system for the real killers. The scale of it is almost impossible to imagine. When France first tried to build the Panama Canal in the 1880s, more than 20,000 workers died, the vast majority of them killed by mosquito-borne malaria and yellow fever. The disease was so relentless it helped bankrupt the entire project. So here is the thing that ties all of this together. The animals we fear the most, the shark, the bear, the lion, kill only a handful of people each year, and the animal we swat without a second thought kills the better part of 1,000,000. The deadliest thing on earth was never the teeth, or the claws, or the size. It is a faint whining sound in the dark. Thanks for watching.